Hello and welcome to this new video tutorial of OpenCart Web Application Firewall Security plugin. And in today's video tutorial, we'll be showing you how the web store owner would be able to set up the two-factor authentication feature for the web store itself, and that two-factor authentication can then be used by the customers, the admin, and the affiliate users. And this authentication basically requires a QR code to be scanned using the Google Authenticator app that would be installed on your smartphones. And apart from that, the admin can disable and enable one or more IP addresses or countries and can restrict or allow specific users for the access. And we'll also be showing you the front-end workflow, wherein we'll be showing you how the web store admin and the customers would be able to log into their accounts using the two-factor authentication, wherein they'll be using the Google Authenticator to scan the QR code before accessing their account menu options. And lastly, we'll then show you how to set up the how the admin would be able to set up the security authentication from the admin backend panel and the rest of the configuration settings that are needed for this particular plugin. So now let me take you to the web store front end first, and as you can see right now at the OpenCart web store, and I'll be logging into my customer account. So for that, I'll just tap here on my account and then log in. So right now I'm at the login page, as you can see, for the OpenCart web store, and here I'm a returning customer, so I'll be entering my email address and password to log into my account. But before logging into the account, after we have tapped the login button, we'll have to go through the two-step verification. So there will be having a QR code that need to be scanned using the Google Authenticator mobile application. So the Google Authenticator mobile application should be installed within your mobile device itself. And after you tap here on the web browser for logging into your customer account, section to authenticate the same would be displayed to the customer. So now let me go ahead and let me tap here on the login button, and you'll be able to see the QR code, as you can see. So we'll be entering the QR code now, and thereafter I'll be tapping the authenticate button, and you can see now that I've logged into my account using the Google Authenticator code that we had put in there. And thereafter now the customer can access all of the options within his account. So he can go anywhere, he can make use of his customer account as usual. So that was how the customers can access their basically how the customers would be able to how they'll be able to encounter a pop-up for the web application firewall security, that is two-factor authentication. And after that, if the code matches with the Google Authenticator's code, and the customers would be redirected to their account pages, as I've already shown you. And so that is how the admin can secure the login for the customers by providing the two-factor authentication there. Now let's see how the email verification for new customers can be done. So for that, I'll just log out of this particular account that I used to show you the two-factor authentication. So let me log out. And as we know, whenever a new customer arrives and he wishes to register within your website, they'll have to go through the email verification process. And to register with the website, the customer just needs to navigate to my account, then register, and that brings up the register account page. And here you can see that we have different personal details that need to be entered by the customer. So let me go ahead and let me add some demo data here, and then we'll be using the verify email option that you can see here. And basically the new customer can tap here on the verify email after adding his email. And if the email is verified, then the success message would be displayed to the customer that the verification has been done. And now let's get here, let me enter the details first.
So I've just entered my first name, last name, email address, and let me go and enter my telephone number, and I'll be setting up my password as well, and I'll be confirming my password, and I'll check this. Now the customer can tap here on the verify email button. So now you can see if this email, how the email verification is done. So now you can see that the success message was there, that the email has been verified. Let me show you that once again. And a verification email is sent out to the email that the customer has entered here, and thereafter the customer can log into his email address that he has provided while registering his account, and can verify the email by tapping on the link that is provided within the received verification email on the customer's email that the customer has entered here. Now after the email verification, now let's hop to the reCAPTCHA visibility that is within the contact us form. So basically the customers can now find the contact us form having the reCAPTCHA for the additional security. So if I tap here on the contact us link, it will bring up this contact us link, as you can see. So the customers can enter their contact details here: name, email address, inquiry, and thereafter they can also make use of this reCAPTCHA here. So before posting the details, the customer can basically uh, complete the captcha validation first, and thereafter they can tap on the submit button to submit their query to the web store there. So that's how we have set up the reCAPTCHA for additional security within the contact us form. And now let me show you how the two-factor authentication works for the admin. So for that, I'll just take you to the OpenCart web store backend panel, and here we are on the OpenCart backend panel right now. So here I'll be showing you how the web store owner would be able to or the admin would be able to make use of the two-factor authentication here. So has to log into his account panel within the backend itself. Thereafter we'll be showing you the settings that are required for initially setting up this particular OpenCart security module itself. So let me go ahead and let me show you how the admin can now make use of the two-factor authentication. So for that, again, we need our mobile device, and we'll be opening our Google Authenticator once again, and we'll be tapping here on the login button, and thereafter the admin needs to scan the QR code on the next section. And if the code is verified, then the admin would be logged into his account, and he can basically access his OpenCart web store backend. So now let me go ahead and let me tap here on the login button that you can see, and now this would bring up this section for the two-factor authentication, as you can see right now. So I've scanned the code, and now I'll be entering my authentication code, and I'll just tap here on the authentication button, and now you'll be seeing that we'll be logged into our backend panel automatically. And now the admin can view all of the backend functionalities as well as the dashboard itself. So that was how the admin can basically make use of the two-factor authentication to log into his account panel. Also, after the successful installation of this particular plugin, the web store owner would be able to find the web app firewall security menu option on the left hand side panel, under which we have different options like we have the initial module configuration settings, we have the security IP ban, we have the country ban, we have the brute force login, and we have the security directory permissions. So we'll be going through each of them one by one. So let's go to the module configuration initially, so as to check what different options are there to configure before making use of this particular plugin within our OpenCart web store itself. So now let's go to the configuration section that we have here. So I'll just tap here on the next tab. So under the webcool WAF security, here you can see that we can edit the security as well. And here we have three different tabs to configure. One is the general, then we have the API keys, and then the mail. So we'll go through each of them one by one. And under the general tab, apart from that, first we need to choose our store for which this would be applicable. And from here you can select the store for this for which the module will work. If you have multiple store, you can choose your store accordingly. Now under the general tab here, the admin will configure fields such as the status, the reCAPTCHA, number of failed event attempts, customer IP abuse, confidence score, and the rest of the details as well. So here the admin can choose the enable option to enable the status of the module itself. Enable would allow the functionality to be enabled on your web store. Then we have a reCAPTCHA option for admin login. So here the admin can enable the reCAPTCHA option which is displayed after failed number of attempts. So you can enable or disable this particular option. Then we have number of allowed failed attempts. So here the admin can define a value for the allowed failed attempts. Then we have the user customer IP abuse confidence score. So from here the admin defines a value for the field which is a minimum value to check the user or the customer IP abuse confidence score. And if the abuse confidence score is more than this value, then the user cannot log in to the web store. Then we have reCAPTCHA display pages. So here you can choose where you want to display the reCAPTCHA. So you can choose the admin login, the customer login, or the affiliate login, or on the contact us page as well. Then we have the poor password check. So if this option is enabled, it will work if a customer tends to add a weak password when registering. Then we have the pre-sign up email validation. So if enabled, then the email validation is required before any customers registers, as we have already shown you while registering a new customer on the web store. Then we have admin Google two-factor verification. So if this option is enabled, then the admin will encounter the two-factor verification while logging into the backend panel. Then we have the customer affiliate Google two-factor verification. So on enabling this particular field, the customer or the affiliates will be able to access the two-factor verification while they are logging in. So after verifying, they'll be able to check their account options. So that was about the general settings. Now let's go to the API keys section, and here we have to configure three. So here the admin will have to retrieve the Google reCAPTCHA site and the secret key. So you can get that by tapping here on the button that you can see. You can register and you can get those keys. That's the site key and the secret key. You can also enter the abuse IPDB database API key, and you can get that by going to this particular link by tapping the particular button that we have provided here. And lastly, we have the mail tab, and this is the third tab. And here we have different tabs, sub tabs like the new file notification, login notification, other notifications, sign up email notification, and the mail info. So under the mail info, we have a different what we say as the codes for writing the email templates. So for example, if you want to set up the store name, then you can use the config_name. Similarly, if you want to add the current times stamp, or you want to set the password link for the admin, user, and customer, then you can choose this reset link that would provide the respective link to the customer or the admin. So under the new file notification, basically the admin configures the fields such as the add new file notification. He can enable or disable it, and if this option is enabled, then a notification will be sent out to the admin that a new file has been added into the system. The admin can basically check the file extensions, so they can be added multiply, and they should be comma separated. And for these edit file extensions, the notification would be sent out to the admin when uploaded, and if option is empty, then for these file notification will be sent extensions like the others as mentioned here. Then we have the add new file notification subject, so you can set it as per your store view like the English or the Arabic, and here you can set up the value, and then it will be the notification subject. So you can set your notification subject as well. Then we have the add new file notification uh, description. So here you can set up the description for your new file notification that you have. So that was about the new file notification. Now let's go to the login notification. So here you can enable the admin login notification status by choosing the enable option. You can set up the admin login notification subject, and you can set up the description for the admin login notification description as well. Then you can also set up the catalog login notification status, and you can choose this option as enable or disable. The admin can set it as enable or disable, as I've already told you, and then the admin can set up the catalog login notification subject and the login notification as well. Then we have the other notifications, and the admin would here configure the fields such as the reset current logged in admin user password. If you choose this enable, then this feature would be enabled, wherein the current admin user password will also be reset. The admin can also enable the reset password notification status, and if enabled, then the reset password notification would be sent out to all of the users and the customers. And similarly, the admin can set up the reset password notification subject. The email notification subject would be this, so you can set it as per your own requirement. And similarly, you can set up your description for the admin reset password notification subject as well. And then we have the sign up email notifications, and here the admin would be configuring the fields like the sign up email validation status. You can choose it to be enabled or disabled. If this is enabled, then only the email verification mail will be sent during the customer registration. Then you can set up the sign up email validation mail subject and the content as content of the description as well. And within the description, you can make use of these codes, and you'll find these codes under the mail info here, and accordingly you can create your different notifications like the new file login notification, other notifications, and the sign up email notifications for your web store system. And that was the basic configuration settings for this particular plugin. And now let's go to the WAF security, and let's go through these four different sections that we have. So let's go to the WAF security IP ban, and let's see what different options are there. So here you can see that the admin can find a complete list of security IP ban, and here the admin would be able to enable or disable any IP at any point of time. So if any user who wishes to log in bears an IP same as that the admin has disabled from here, then they cannot log in. To enable any of the IPs, the admin will have to select that particular IP from the list, and he can tap here on the enable button. Otherwise, to disable, he can tap here on the disabled. So if I tap here disable, you can see it is disabled. If I enable it, it would be enabled. You can delete that by tapping the delete as well. To add a new IP, you can tap here on the add new button. Then you can choose the status. You can add the new IP, and you can tap here on the save button to save that particular ID that you want to add for ban. So that was about the web security IP ban section, and now let's go to the web security country ban. Similarly, here you can see that the admin has added the country ban list, and here as well he can enable, disable, or delete any of the banned countries. To disable, just tap here on the disable button. To enable, just tap here on the enable button. To delete, you can tap here on the delete button and tap OK button to delete that particular country out from this particular country ban, so as to enable the country itself. You can tap here on the add new button to add a new country to ban. You can choose the country, and you can tap here on the save button, and that would save the new country for which you have banned, and that would not be able to access your store itself. So here you can see that we have added the Angola. Now let's go to the security brute force section, and let's see what different options are there. And here you can see that the admin would be able to see the security brute force log list, and here the admin will be able to see when and who has logged in within the web store itself. So all of the details for who has logged into the web store is found here by the admin himself, and the admin can download it as well and can clear the data as well. Now lastly, we have the security directory permission, and it basically displays the directory content listing depicting whether it is secure or not secure, as shown here. Here you can see that. So here we have different directory permission lists, and you can see whether it's a secure one or not a secure one. And yeah, so that was much about all the vast security configuration. Then the security IP ban, security country ban, security brute force log, and the security directory permissions. And we also showed you the two-factor authentication for the admin and the customers, and similarly the agents can or the affiliates can also make use of the two-factor authentication to access their accounts using the secure mode. So I hope it helped you out, and if you still have any questions or queries regarding the OpenCart web application firewall WAF security plugin, then you can always get back to us at support@webcool.com, or you may raise a ticket at webcool.uvis.com. Thanks for watching this video ahead.